The autumn light in Seattle has a way of softening everything. It spills through my living room window, painting the old oak floor in shades of gold. I'm sitting in my favorite armchair, the one my late wife, Ellen, picked out 30 years ago. The Seattle Times is open on my lap, sports section, though I'm barely reading it. My tea, Earl Grey, steams gently in its mug, the bergamot scent mixing with the faint earthiness of my backyard garden. It's a quiet morning, the kind I've come to cherish at 68. Just me, my routine, my home. At least, that's what I thought. Then I hear the front door creak. Footsteps, familiar ones, echo through the hallway. It's Lucas, my son, 38 years old, with that restless energy he's had since he was a boy. Behind him is Amelia, his wife, her heels clicking softly on the hardwood. They've been staying with me for months now, ever since Lucas lost another job. I don't mind, or at least I've told myself I don't. Family helps family, right? Dad, Lucas says, his voice carrying a brightness that feels off. I have a surprise for you. He's standing in the doorway, holding a manila envelope, clutching it like it's some kind of trophy. Amelia hovers behind him, her smile tight, her eyes darting to the floor. Something about the way they're standing, too close, too staged, makes my stomach twist. I set the newspaper down, folding it carefully, buying myself a moment. A surprise, huh? I say, keeping my tone light, though my instincts are already whispering trouble. I take a sip of tea, the warmth steadying me as I study their faces. Lucas's grin is wide, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Amelia's hands are clasped too tightly in front of her. Go on, open it, Lucas urges, thrusting the envelope toward me. His voice is eager, almost impatient. I take it, feeling the weight of it, the thickness of papers inside. The return address catches my eye, a law firm in downtown Seattle I've never heard of. My fingers hesitate at the flap, but Lucas is watching me like a hawk, so I tear it open. Papers spill onto my lap. Legal documents, official letterheads, columns of numbers that make my chest tighten. Loan agreements, investment contracts, payment schedules, all in my name. My eyes scan the totals, $350,000 in debt. Investments in properties in Nevada, Oregon, places I've never been. Signatures at the bottom, every one of them mine. Or so they look. What the hell is this? My voice comes out sharper than I mean, but my hands are shaking now, the tea mug rattling as I set it down. Lucas steps closer, his posture too casual, like he's explaining something obvious. Those are your debts, Dad. We found them when we were helping you sort your files last month. Remember? I don't remember. I remember them offering to organize my paperwork, rifling through my desk while I made them dinner. I remember trusting them, thinking they were just trying to help their old man. But this? $350,000 in debts I never signed for? I've never invested in anything like this, I say, spreading the papers across the coffee table. These aren't mine. Amelia steps forward now, her voice soft but calculated. Dad, we can't let these go unpaid. The bank will take everything by Friday, the house, the car, everything. Her eyes glisten, like she's on the verge of tears. But there's something rehearsed about it. We're family. We need to figure this out together. Lucas nods, his arms crossed. You wouldn't want us to lose everything, would you? We've got nowhere else to go. His tone is flat, almost accusing. I look at my son, the boy I raised alone after Ellen passed. The one I bailed out of every failed business venture, every bad decision. And now he's standing in my living room, holding papers that could ruin me, looking at me like I'm the one who's failed him. I pick up one of the contracts, holding it to the light. The signature is perfect. Every curve, every slant, just like mine. Too perfect. This isn't my signature, I say, my voice quieter now but steady. Someone forged it. Lucas's smile falters, just for a second. Amelia's tears vanish, replaced by a hardness I've never seen before. Dad, she says, her voice sharp now, don't make this harder than it needs to be. The papers are spread across my coffee table now. A mess of numbers and legal jargon that feel like a stranger's life, not mine. I'm still holding one of the contracts, staring at the signature, my signature, or so it seems. Every loop of the R in Raymond, every slant of the C in Caldwell, is perfect. Too perfect. My heart's pounding, not just from the shock of seeing $350,000 in debts I didn't create, but from the dawning realization that the people standing in my living room, my son Lucas and his wife Amelia, might not be here to help me. I look up at Lucas, his arms crossed, leaning against the wall like he owns the place. His eyes are steady, but there's a flicker of something, guilt maybe, or defiance. Amelia standing closer to me, her hands clasped tightly, her face a mask of concern that doesn't quite reach her eyes. "Dad," she says, her voice soft but edged with impatience, "we're just trying to protect you. These debts are in your name. If you don't pay by Friday, the bank will come for the house. You don't want that, do you?" Her words are meant to sound caring, but they land like a sales pitch. I set the contract down, my hands steadier now, though my mind's racing. "Protect me?" I say, my voice low but firm. "I've never set foot in Nevada or Oregon. I've never signed for any of these loans or investments." "How do you explain that?" Lucas steps forward, his posture shifting from casual to commanding. "Come on, Dad, you're 68. Memory's not what it used to be, right?" He gives a small, dismissive laugh, like he's joking, but it's a blade wrapped in velvet. "We found these in your files. You must have signed them at some point. Maybe you were stressed or distracted. I feel a flush of anger, hot and sharp, but I keep it in check. I've spent 30 years keeping my emotions steady, first as an engineer, then through the grief of losing Ellen, and now raising Lucas alone through his endless string of bad choices. But this is different. I don't sign things I don't understand, I say, picking up another document. A loan agreement for a condo development in Reno. The numbers are staggering. $150,000 here, $200,000 there. And I sure as hell don't sign for $500,000 without knowing it. Amelia moves closer, reaching out as if to touch my arm, but I pull back, keeping the table between us. Her hand freezes mid-air, and for a moment her mask slips, just a flash of frustration before she recovers. "Dad, we're family," she says, her voice trembling now, like she's on the verge of tears. "We've been living here, helping you with the bills, the yard, everything. We can't lose this house. Where would we go?" Her words hit hard, not because they're true, but because they're meant to wound. I think back to the past year, Lucas and Amelia moving in after his latest business flop, a tech startup that burned through his savings and mine. I let them stay, thinking it was temporary, thinking family sticks together. They've been paying some bills, sure. Property taxes last spring, a new water heater in July, but it was their idea, not mine. They insisted, said it was the least they could do. Now I'm wondering why, helping me, I say, my eyes flicking between them. Like when you offered to organize my files? Went through my desk, my safe, my computer? The memory comes back clear now. Lucas and Amelia in my study, sorting through papers while I grilled salmon for dinner. They said they were helping me get my affairs in order, said it was for my own good. I trusted them. I trusted my son. Lucas's face hardens. "Don't start accusing us, Dad. We were trying to help you stay on top of things. You've been slipping, you know that. Forgetting bills, losing track of paperwork." He gestures at the documents on the table. "If you were really in control, how did $350,000 in debt sneak up on you?" His words sting, and for a moment I doubt myself. Could I have missed something? Could I have signed something without realizing? But then I look at the papers again, the dates, the locations, Reno, Portland, Salem, places I've never been. Signatures that look like mine but feel wrong. Too clean, too practiced. "These aren't mine," I say again, my voice steady now, cutting through the room. Someone forged them, and I'm starting to think I know who. Amelia's tears start falling, right on cue, streaming down her cheeks in perfect little rivulets. "How can you say that, Dad?" she says, her voice breaking. "After everything we've done for you? After all the years you said family comes first?" She moves around the table, her hands outstretched, like she's trying to reach the father I used to be, the one who'd drop everything to fix her problems, to bail Lucas out of his. But I'm not that man right now. I stand up, the papers scattering slightly as I push back from the table. "Family doesn't forge signatures," I say, my voice calm but unyielding. "Family doesn't try to pin $350,000 in fake debts on someone they love." Lucas steps forward, blocking the doorway to the hall, his presence suddenly looming in my own home. "Careful, Dad," he says, his tone low, almost threatening. "Those documents are legal, binding. Your name, your social security number, your responsibility. You don't pay, we all lose everything." His eyes are cold now. No trace of the boy who used to beg me to play catch in the backyard. Amelia's still crying, but it's different now, sharper, like she's angry that her tears aren't working. "We're not asking you to admit anything," she says, picking up one of the loan agreements and holding it up like evidence. "We're asking you to take responsibility. These debts exist. If they don't get paid, we're all out on the street." I look around my living room, the bookshelf Ellen and I built together. The photos of Lucas as a kid, the garden outside where we used to plant tulips every spring. This is my home, the one I paid off with 30 years of sweat as an engineer, the one I thought I'd pass down to Lucas someday. But now it feels like a trap. "I didn't sign these," I say, meeting Lucas's gaze. "And I'm not paying for someone else's lies." My words hang in the air, heavy, final. Lucas's jaw tightens, and Amelia's tears stop as suddenly as they started. For a moment, no one moves. Then Lucas speaks, his voice cold as the Seattle rain. "You're making a big mistake, Dad." The air in my living room feels thick now, like the calm before a storm. Lucas is standing in the doorway, his eyes locked on mine, his words, "You're making a big mistake, Dad," still ringing in my ears. I'm 68 years old, standing in the home I built with my late wife, Ellen, and yet, in this moment, I feel like a stranger in my own life. The papers on the coffee table, those forged documents claiming I owe $350,000, seem to pulse with a life of their own. Amelia's standing closer now, her tears gone, replaced by a cold, calculating stare that makes my skin crawl. "Lucas," I say, keeping my voice steady, though my heart's hammering. "I'm not paying for debts I didn't create. Someone forged my name, and we're going to figure out who." I pick up another contract, holding it like it might burn me, the signature so perfect it's eerie. This isn't just a mistake. This is fraud. Amelia's face twists like I've slapped her. "Fraud?" she snaps, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "You're calling us liars? After everything we've done for you?" She steps around the table, her movements quick, jerky, like she's barely holding herself together. "We've been living here, paying your bills, keeping this place from falling apart. And now you're accusing us?" Her words are meant to sting, to make me doubt myself, but they only fuel my anger. I think of all the times I let things slide. Lucas's failed businesses, Amelia's excuses, the way they've been treating my house like it's theirs. "Paying my bills?" I say, my voice rising despite myself. "You mean the property taxes you insisted on covering? The water heater you said I needed? Those were your ideas, not mine. And now I'm holding papers that say I owe $500,000 for investments I never made." Lucas moves closer, his shoulders squared, his presence filling the room. "You're not listening, Dad," he says, his tone low, dangerous. "Those documents are real. Your name, your signature, your social security number. You think someone just made that up out of thin air? You think we did?" His words are a challenge, daring me to say it out loud. I meet his gaze, my son, the boy I taught to ride a bike in the driveway. the one I walked across the stage at his college graduation. But the man in front of me isn't that boy anymore. I think someone who had access to my safe, my files, my computer could have done it, I say, each word deliberate. Someone who's been living in my house, eating my food, acting like they own the place. The room goes quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like it's holding its breath. Then Amelia explodes. "How dare you!" she shouts, her face flushed with rage. 38 years I've been your daughter-in-law, putting up with your stubbornness, your endless lectures about responsibility. And now you're blaming us for your mess? She's pacing now, her hands shaking, her voice cracking like a whip. "We're about to lose everything because of you!" "Amelia, calm down," I say, but my voice is drowned out by hers. She spins toward the coffee table where my tea mug sits, still steaming from when I set it down. Her eyes lock onto it, and before I can react, she grabs it, her knuckles white around the handle. "You think you can just sit there acting like none of this is your fault?" She screams, and then the mug is flying, the hot tea arcing through the air toward me. I see it coming, but my body's too slow. The scalding liquid hits my shoulder and chest, soaking through my sweater in an instant. Pain sears across my skin, sharp and relentless, like someone's pressed a hot iron against me. I stumble back, gasping, pulling the wet fabric away from my body, but the damage is done. The tea drips down my chest, leaving angry red patches in its wake. "Jesus, Amelia!" I choke out, the pain making my voice ragged. She stands there, clutching the empty mug, her chest heaving, her eyes wide with shock, like she can't believe what she just did. For a moment, we're frozen, the room silent except for my ragged breathing. Then Lucas steps forward, his face calm, almost satisfied. "Get out, Dad," he says, his voice cold, conversational, like he's asking me to pass the salt. "This is our house now. Pack what you can carry and leave." He moves closer. Close enough that I can smell the cologne he's been using since he moved in. The one I bought him last Christmas. "This is my house," I say. My voice steady despite the burning pain across my chest. "My name's on the deed. I've paid the mortgage for 30 years. My words feel like a lifeline, a reminder of what's true, what's mine. "Not anymore," Lucas says, his smile thin, cruel. "Those debts change everything. By Friday, the bank will have liens on this place. But Amelia and I can work something out with them. We've got nothing to lose." He steps closer, blocking the hallway, his eyes daring me to challenge him. I look at Amelia, still holding the mug, her face pale now, her hands trembling. I think of the girl who used to laugh at my bad jokes, who hugged me at her wedding 3 years ago, who called me Dad like it meant something. She won't meet my eyes. "You planned this," I say, the realization hitting me like a cold wave. "Both of you. The documents, the timing, everything. Lucas doesn't deny it. We're solving a problem, Dad," he says. "Your problem. The one you created with your debts and your refusal to take responsibility." His words are smooth, rehearsed, like he's been practicing them for weeks. The pain in my chest is throbbing now, but it's nothing compared to the ache in my heart. I need to get out of here, away from these people who look like my family but feel like enemies. "I need to change," I say, starting toward the hallway. Lucas shifts, blocking my path, but I meet his gaze, unyielding. "Move!" Something in my voice must convince him, because he steps aside, though I feel his eyes on me as I walk away. Amelia's watching too, her silence louder than her earlier screams. I make it to my bedroom, closing the door behind me. Alone for the first time all morning, I peel off the soaked sweater, wincing as it pulls at the burned skin. In the mirror, I see the red patches across my shoulder and chest, a painful reminder of what my son and his wife are capable of. They want me gone. They want my home, my life, everything I've built, but they've just started something they can't finish. The bedroom door clicks shut behind me, and for the first time this morning, I'm alone. The silence is heavy, broken only by the faint hum of the radiator and the distant murmur of Lucas and Amelia's voices from the living room. My chest throbs where Amelia's tea burned me, the red patches glaring in the mirror above my dresser. I'm 68 years old, standing in the house I built with Ellen, and I've just been scalded and threatened by my own son and his wife. But as I peel off the damp, ruined sweater, my hands are steady. They want me out. They want my home. They have no idea who they're dealing with. I move carefully, pulling on a clean flannel shirt, wincing as the fabric brushes the tender burns. My mind's racing, piecing together the puzzle. Those documents, $350,000 in fake debts, my signature forged with chilling precision, didn't appear out of nowhere. Lucas and Amelia had access to everything. My files, my safe, my computer. They've been living here for months, worming their way into every corner of my life. I should have seen it sooner, but love makes you blind, doesn't it? I thought I was helping my son. Turns out I was their mark. I grab a small suitcase from the closet, the thud of it hitting the floor louder than I expect. I pack light, 3 days' worth of clothes, my prescription bottles, my wallet with $150 in cash. Then I open the bottom drawer of my dresser, where I keep the important papers they didn't find. The deed to the house, my will, Ellen's death certificate, all tucked in a plain folder. Proof this house is mine, not theirs. I slip it into the suitcase along with my car keys. I'm not running, but I need to get somewhere safe, somewhere I can think. I slip out the back door, the October air sharp against my burned skin. The backyard feels different now, the garden where Ellen and I planted roses looking smaller, less like home. I cross the lawn to the low fence that separates my property from Dorothy's. She's been my neighbor for 20 years, a retired schoolteacher with a sharp mind and a kind heart. We've shared countless evenings talking about the Mariners, the weather, the way Seattle's changed. I've never asked her for help like this before, but right now she's the only person I trust. Her kitchen light is on. Through the window I see her sitting at her table, reading a book, a mug of coffee in hand. A normal morning, the kind I was enjoying an hour ago before my world turned upside down. I knock softly, trying not to sound desperate. Dorothy opens the door, her gray hair pulled back, her eyes narrowing with concern when she sees my face. "Raymond, what's wrong?" she says, stepping back to let me in. "You look like you've been through hell." "Worse than that," I say, setting my suitcase down, the weight of it grounding me. "Can I come in for a bit? I need a favor." Her kitchen smells like fresh bread, warm and comforting, a stark contrast to the chaos I just left. She gestures to a chair by the window. "Sit. Want some coffee?" I nod, easing myself down, the burns stinging with every movement. "Coffee would be good. I've got a story to tell, Dorothy. It's not a pretty one." She pours coffee into a mug with a faded University of Washington logo and slides it across the table. "I'm all ears," she says, sitting across from me, her teacher's instinct kicking in, listening, waiting, letting me find my words. I take a sip, the warmth spreading through me, and start at the beginning. Lucas and Amelia showed up this morning with an envelope. Said it was a surprise. Inside were documents claiming I owe $350,000. Loans, investments, all in my name. I didn't sign them. Someone forged my signature. Dorothy's eyebrows shoot up, but she doesn't interrupt. I keep going, telling her about the forged signatures, the properties in Nevada and Oregon, the way Lucas and Amelia pressured me to pay by Friday or lose everything. I tell her about the tea, the burns, the way they told me to get out of my own house. My voice stays steady, but inside I'm breaking. "They planned this," I say, my hands tightening around the mug. "They've been living with me, going through my things. I think they stole my information when they helped me organize my files." Dorothy leans forward, her face grim. "That's fraud, Raymond. Criminal fraud." She pauses, then softer. "And Amelia threw hot tea at you?" I unbutton the top of my shirt. showing her the red patches across my shoulder. Her eyes widen and she shakes her head. My God, that's assault. You need to call the police. I hesitate, the weight of it hitting me. Calling the police means admitting my son is a criminal, that the boy I raised is gone. But then I think of the tea, the pain, the cold way Lucas said, "This is our house now." Dorothy's right. This isn't family drama anymore. It's a crime. I need to check something first, I say, pulling out my phone. Lucas left his old laptop in the garage. If he's been using my information, there might be proof. Dorothy follows me to her back porch, where I can still see my house across the fence. The curtains are drawn, but I know they're in there, probably planning their next move. Back inside, I borrow her computer and log into an old email account Lucas used to share with me. It's a long shot, but he's careless sometimes. Sure enough, there's a folder he didn't delete. Emails to shady investment firms. Confirmations for loans, even texts forwarded to his email about urgent payments to people with names like Vince and Joey the Fix. It's all there. Proof he's been using my name, my social security number, to rack up debts. This is it, I say, showing Dorothy the screen. He's been setting me up for months. Her face hardens. Raymond, you can't let this go. They assaulted you, stole from you. You need to call 911 right now. I look at her, then at the burns on my chest, still stinging under my shirt. She's right. There's no going back. I pick up her landline, the old-fashioned kind with a coiled cord, and dial 911. 2 rings, then a calm voice. 911, what's your emergency? I take a breath. I need to report a domestic assault. I was attacked in my home this morning. My voice is steady now, the words coming easier than I expected. I've got burns on my shoulder and chest from hot tea thrown at me. And there's more. Fraudulent documents. $350,000 in debts I didn't sign for. The dispatcher asks for details. My location, my injuries, the names of the perpetrators. I give her Dorothy's address, then spell out Lucas Caldwell and Amelia Caldwell, my son and his wife. They're still in my house, I say, glancing out the window toward the curtains that hide them. They told me to leave, said it's their house now. The dispatcher's voice stays professional. Officers are on their way, Mr. Caldwell. Stay where you are. ETA is 10 minutes. I hang up, the handset heavy in my hand. Dorothy puts a hand on my shoulder, gentle but firm. You did the right thing, she says. I nod, but inside I feel like I've crossed a line I can never uncross. My son, my own flesh and blood, is about to be arrested. And yet, as I look at the evidence on the screen, the burns on my skin, I know there's no other way. Through the window I see a police car turn onto our street, its lights off but moving with purpose. They're here, I say, my voice quiet but resolute. Dorothy stands beside me, her presence steadying me. Let's get you justice, she says, and for the first time today, I feel like I'm not alone. The police cars pull into Dorothy's driveway. Their engines quiet but purposeful, like they know the weight of what's about to happen. I stand at her front door, watching as 2 officers step out. A woman with a no-nonsense stride and a younger man scanning the street with sharp eyes. Dorothy's beside me, her hand on my arm, grounding me. My chest still aches from the burns, but my resolve is stronger now. Lucas and Amelia thought they could take everything from me. They're about to learn they were wrong. The officers introduce themselves, Officer Rivera and Officer Nguyen. Rivera's eyes flick to the red patches peeking above my shirt collar. Mr. Caldwell, can we see your injuries? She asks, her voice calm but firm. I unbutton my shirt enough to show the burns across my shoulder and chest, the skin raw and angry. Nguyen takes photos while Rivera jots notes, asking me to walk them through the morning, the envelope, the forged documents, the tea, the threats. I tell it straight, no embellishment, letting the facts speak for themselves. They're still in the house, I say, nodding toward my place across the fence. The documents are on the coffee table, along with the mug Amelia threw. Rivera nods, exchanging a glance with Nguyen. We'll need to secure the scene and interview them, she says. Will you come with us to point out the evidence? I agree, and we walk across the yard, Dorothy at my side, the officers flanking us like a quiet honor guard. My house looks smaller somehow, like it's holding its breath, waiting for what comes next. Nguyen knocks on the front door, his voice sharp. Police, open up. They're scrambling inside, hushed voices, then Amelia's voice, high and strained. Just a second! When the door swings open, her face goes pale, her eyes darting from the officers to me. Lucas appears behind her, his expression shifting from shock to a forced calm, like he's calculating his next move. Lucas Caldwell, Rivera says, stepping forward. We need to speak with you and your wife about an incident this morning. Amelia's voice wavers. I don't know what he told you, but this is a misunderstanding. Lucas cuts in, his tone smooth. Dad's confused. He's been under a lot of stress. But the officers aren't buying it. Nguyen gestures for Lucas to step outside while Rivera leads Amelia to the living room, separating them with practiced efficiency. 20 minutes later, after photographing the documents and the tea stains on the floor, Rivera returns to where I'm waiting with Dorothy on the front lawn. Mr. Caldwell, she says, based on your statement, the physical evidence, and their conflicting stories, we have probable cause for arrests. My heart lurches, but I nod. Through the window, I see Nguyen reading Lucas his rights, his hands cuffed behind him. Amelia's crying now, her voice rising in protest. It was an accident. I didn't mean to hurt him. But Lucas's face is pure rage. This is your fault, Dad, he spits, as he's led to the squad car. Even now, he can't take responsibility. The transport van arrives, and I watch as Lucas and Amelia are loaded into separate vehicles. Amelia's mascara streaks her face, her sobs echoing across the yard. Lucas is silent, his jaw tight, his eyes fixed on me until the door slams shut. Rivera hands me a card with a case number and the prosecutor's contact info. Someone will follow up about charges and court dates, she says. As the cars pull away, I feel something unexpected. Not triumph, not anger, but relief. The lies are over. 3 weeks later, I'm back in my kitchen, the Seattle Times open on the table, a fresh mug of tea in my hand. Dorothy knocks on the back door, holding a manila envelope and a grin that says she's got news. You'll want to see this, she says, settling into a chair. She spreads out court documents, Lucas's name in bold. Bankruptcy filings, creditor lawsuits, a probation violation from an old fraud charge. Public records, she explains, a retired teacher's knack for research shining through. He's done, Raymond. His car was repossessed, his job's gone, and he's living in a shelter downtown. Amelia's story is no better. Her retail job vanished after her arrest hit the local paper. She's in a women's shelter now, her apartment lease canceled. She filed for divorce from Lucas, freezing their joint account, but there was barely anything left. She's tried calling me, leaving voicemails I haven't listened to, even sent a letter with a bouquet of daisies, Ellen's favorite. I dropped the flowers in the trash without reading the note. Some betrayals cut too deep, then comes the twist I've kept close all these years. I'm not just a retired engineer scraping by on a pension, the way Lucas always saw me. For decades, I've been a consultant for major real estate projects across the Northwest. Discreet, well-paid work that funded this house, my savings, my life. I kept it secret, even from Ellen at first, to protect my family from their own greed. Lucas never knew, but it's why I could afford the lawyers who are now untangling his mess. Ensuring my home stays mine, I've replaced the locks, installed a security system, and rearranged the house to feel like mine again. The gardens blooming under my care, roses thriving where Lucas once trampled them. My phone buzzes with a text from a client. A big project in Portland needs my expertise. I smile, the first real smile in weeks, and reply, "Send the details. I'm ready." As I sip my tea, the house settles around me. The refrigerator humming, the radiator clicking, the November light soft and golden. I've learned something through all this pain. Family isn't just blood. It's trust, respect, and accountability. Lucas and Amelia forgot that, and they paid the price. But me? I'm free now, free to live authentically, to rebuild what they tried to take. Trust is precious, and once it's broken, it's not owed a second chance. That's the lesson I'll carry forward, and it's one I hope you'll remember too. If you connected with this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in my shoes? Let me know. Thank you for listening.